Today, I will have several things to do. First, I will keep talking some detail about the greenhouse effect and about the climate change and about the COP26. Okay, let's finish this meeting, let's finish this conference, and let's have a confession that they fail in this meeting. And the conclusion is they will keep working on it hard in future, but actually no compromise to all the countries. So this is kind of a sad thing, but already in my mind, I thought it will happen this way. Last night I have a brainstorm and a brain shock actually with my friend, with an engineer, software engineer. He tried to working on the blockchain. Do you know this word, blockchain? I would try to spending less time to talk about the blockchain. What is blockchain? Blockchain, you can see here is a lot of a block and forming a chain. Every block contains a lot of information. Okay, contain a lot of information, but mainly are very complex password. You have to solve this password, and then you will get some information from this block. And then you will keep going to another block. And you have to finish the whole trend here. And you will be proof one thing. Last thing is the original data is true. This is so-called blockchain. And how many people doing this calculation? More than 1 million. Okay, maybe more than 10 million. All those people who are willing to join these things, they will have their machine, they will have their computer in their home, and they turn on the computer connected to the line, connected to the internet, and they will receive the data from global world, and they will start a calculation. It's not actually a visible calculation. It's automatic running. So if you get on that line, which means you are agreed to doing the calculation, and let's start calculate, you won't know which deal, which project, or which resource you are calculating. You won't know. Okay, I just offer the service to do the calculation. Because all the things, all the concept we had, all the conclusion we had from COP26 will be based on this technology. And the other technology is IoT. IoT also depends on one technology. It's called internet speed. Okay, you will have cell phone 4G, right? And now we come to 5G, which means a gigabyte, and which means you could have a faster speed of your internet. And all these things is based on this technology. And we have to calculate the result and create one thing called carbon credit. Okay, I think you are more familiar with the carbon credit, right? Do you have the concept of a carbon credit? Carbon credit is, okay, the greenhouse air. There are several different kinds of greenhouse air. We already know that is, here we mentioned those things. They are greenhouse air, okay? The major one, the top one is carbon dioxide, okay? Carbon, C, O2 means dioxygen, okay, carbon dioxide. And the carbon credit is focused on this carbon, okay? Focus on the carbon inside the carbon dioxide. Okay, so we try to calculate. If I release 1 ton of CO2, and there will have a number goes to C, right? You could separate them into 2 parts, C plus O2, right? And O2 is harmless. Even you release the O2 in the air, that's harmless. But if you release these kind of carbon things, it causes the greenhouse effect. So this CO2 is actually a waste, a harmful waste for human, right? So we have to calculate how many garbage we released. Okay, Then once you calculate it, average country will do the calculation. And there is an organization, it's a non-government organization like 联合国, IUCN, like these things. And then they will do the calculation. They will publish this data. And they will transform this number, which is carbon credit. They will publish this number to the whole world. And all those countries who release less than standard will get money. Okay? Who release more carbon dioxide than the standard will have to pay the money. Okay? And all those money goes to those countries who done things good and which will help them to development their economy or life quality. Okay, this is the concept we have. Carbon credit is only one tool, only one number. But this number decides you will get money or not. If you don't know what I said, go online and check the reference I offer you. They mention in detail. Each reference like 20 pages. Okay, in English and also in Chinese. So it's a very difficult topic I told you here because it's a brand new concept and we still try to figure it out. Will it work or not? Okay, we still try to figure it out. I will explain it in Chinese briefly, okay? 我们现在要做的事情是谈所谓的碳权 carbon credit 就是碳权。那为什么叫碳权？因为我们排放的温室气体叫 CO2 对不对？叫 carbon 碳二氧化碳。我们在计算这个氧的部分是没有意义的，因为氧会变成一个无害的气体。OK 如果我们把它分开来的话，但是其中的碳是一个固定量，是一个稳定物质，所以我们可以计算它的数量。那当我们计算它的数量之后呢，我们可以用一吨，我们都用一吨的这样子的气体来做一个基数，就是一个既定数量。比如说我今天我可以排10吨，好，这是我被允许的排放量10吨。那开始复杂的计算了之后呢，我们得到这个 carbon credit 了之后，像国际上的一些非政府组织，他们就会把这些数值公告出来。然后那些国家没有达到标准的，就是应该这样讲，比如说我可以排10吨，结果我今天只排了8吨，那我是不是少排了2吨？它就会换成钱，可以吗？然后其他的国家如果说可以排10吨，那排了12吨，他多排了，他就要付钱去买这个排放量。然后把这个钱供给那些做得很好的国家，然后协助他发展经济，协助他发展一些科技。这是这一个 concept， 这是 COP22 的 concept， 这样可以吗 ？OK 好，听起来很简单，对不对 ？It hears very easy, but actually quite very difficult. There are several parts we have to consider. First, how to calculate how much carbon dioxide I actually released. What kind of activity will release the carbon dioxide? What kind of activities will release carbon dioxide? You are releasing carbon dioxide right now, right? You're breathing, okay? Average animal breathes and they will release carbon dioxide. So all the country done nothing, no extra activity. All the people standing here still and only breathe, right? And then human release carbon dioxide. So if a country with a higher dense of population, which means they naturally release more carbon dioxide, right? Okay, a city with higher dense will release more carbon dioxide. Compare with Green Island and Taipei City, and you will know that. Okay, I always like to compare with Jinmen Island and the Taipei City because they have the same area. They have the same square feet. Okay, they are the same. But the population in Taipei is 5 million. And the population in Jinmen Island is only 100,000. So which place release more carbon dioxide? Taipei, of course. So you can see the baseline of each country or city is not the same. Okay, and the complex of this calculation definitely also different, right? Like you want to calculate the true data in Taipei City, it's quite difficult. There are 5 million people in each country. About the carbon dioxide release will be a problem, right? And if the carbon dioxide can be changed to money, and this is another picture, right? People will do bad things just in order to get money. Always bad guy, right? Not everyone is reliable. You know that. Okay, we cannot trust everyone. So if those data isn't directly go to that calculation system, there'll be something be manipulated in the process, and all the data will be not true, right? These kind of things do happen once. In the first page, we talk about the Kyoto Protocol. I told you it's already failed, right? And the reason it's failed, I will tell you, right? The Kyoto Protocol talk about the same concept. If you release more carbon dioxide, and you will have to pay more. And if you release less carbon dioxide, you will get money. The same concept. Okay, for those countries that are in third world, they are not developed. Of course, they release less carbon dioxide, right? So naturally, they will receive money from those rich country and well-developed country, right? It's an easy concept, but how to manipulate it? How to manipulate it? In your mind, if you grow a tree, that tree will release carbon dioxide or absorb the carbon dioxide for you? Yeah, definitely absorbed. So this is the equation of photosynthesis, right? Photosynthesis, which means a leaf, green leaves get the sunlight, and they will absorb the carbon dioxide as raw material and create some sugar, some glucose as their nutrition resource. Every plant doing like these things. Okay, photosynthesis equation here. You could have a 6 carbon dioxide plus the water and creates here is glucose. Okay, you can think about that as a sugar. Okay, and you eat sugar as a resource, as an energy resource, right? Plant do so. Okay, and they will store this kind of a glucose in their body and forming their structure. Okay, the plant will grow bigger, right? And the material they use to grow bigger is cellulose, is this glucose part. Okay, this is the photosynthesis equation. Both old tree do so and the young tree do so. Okay, but the transformation rate is different. Think about if you're an old person, will you eat a lot of food every day? Will you keep growing bigger? Will you? The metabolism rate in your body is going down, right? You cannot even absorb the nutrition. But if you are a baby, do you know how fast those babies grow up? In the first months, right? They grow up like, I think like 20% of their body weight. And within 1 year, their body weight will double or triple. So they're growing quite very fast. The same situation happens on plants. Those green plants, when they are young, they absorb many carbon dioxide. But while they grow old, the metabolism rate go down. Okay, so there is a country. I try not to give you a bad concept of different country. If I point out that country or like a certain person, it will be like discrimination. Okay, I don't want to do so, but you could easily find out the answer online. There is a country done one things. They are developing country, which means they still develop something. They are growing up. Okay, and they try to cut down all the old tree. They try to cut down all the old trees and growing young trees. And at the same time, they build up a lot of the factories. They develop their industry. And they're burning charcoal. Okay, they're burning coal, they burn charcoal. They're burning crude oil as a firepower. So, of course, they release a lot of the carbon dioxide, right? But when you are growing young tree, they highly absorb lots of carbon dioxide. And you cut out an old tree, it releases carbon dioxide. If you build a factory, it also releases carbon dioxide, right? Without carefully calculate, we have a wrong number. Maybe, right? We have a wrong number. Maybe. Because they are not only cut out a tree and get wood. It's not only one number. It's not only one number here. It's not only another one number here. There are too many factors influence the releasing rate of carbon dioxide. Okay, so, but this part is quite easy to calculate. I grow 100 meters square meter young trees, and each trees grow like 10 centimeter. And I can easily calculate a correct number for this part. Got me? Until you got me. And then A minus B. The results shows this country who release a lot of the pollutants, toxic air in the air, still got money. Because they grow a lot of the young tree. Okay, right. You got me right, Sabrina? Okay. Okay, let me explain in Chinese. 计算这个东西的时候，它有非常多的诀窍，然后有很多地方可以逃避。比如说，我刚刚讲的这个例子，就是讲这个京都议定书的这个地方 ，Kyoto Protocol 这个地方，然后这个东西是已经 fail 的，确定是 fail 的。它的概念很简单，一样就是你放比较少的二氧化碳，你就得到钱；你放多了，你就会要付钱，就是这么简单的一个概念。好，但是可以去操作的。我们提到一件事情，就是说老树跟老人一样，它没有办法吃很多的养分，它没有办法再长大了。这样可以理解齁？然后小婴儿吃的很多，长得很快，这样 OK 吗？小树也是，小树吸收了非常非常多的二氧化碳，然后转化成就是所谓的糖类，那是光合作用，这可以吧？光合作用，小树会做很多这样的事情，老树不会了。OK 哈，老树不会了。所以当我那个国家那个去操作这件事情的国家，他怎么做？他把老树都砍了，然后在那些空地上面通通盖工厂，然后把工厂都盖起来，然后燃煤、燃石油，然后排放二氧化碳。它是不是排放了很多的二氧化碳？可是这一些太多的大的、小的排放的污染物质有太多了，它是没有办法仔细算出来的，所以它会得到一个 wrong number， 可以理解吗？ The total quantity will be wrong because you didn't calculate carefully and you could not calculate every each factors inside. But it's easier to calculate this part. 这个部分就很容易算。我种了很多小树，我种了100平方公尺的小树，这个小树每一年长10公分，就可以计算成二氧化碳了。这样可以理解吗？因为它可以从光合作用逆推嘛。 它可以逆推，它就可以算出我排放多少二氧化碳。这个部分很清楚，这个部分可以作假。OK 好，我只要1个烟囱、2个烟囱不装 sensor 就可以了，对不对？好，所以这个部分容易造假。然后这个国家砍了很多老树，盖了很多工厂，又燃煤。正常来说，它应该会是要付很多钱的，对不对？但是结果它是赚钱的，它是赚钱的，因为它种了这么多的小树，然后这些小树吸收的二氧化碳的比率是比那些老树还高的，所以它最后还因为京都议定的这个关系赚到了很多钱，然后协助它发展了更多的工业。OK 哈。然后大家后来，当我们计算的那些能力越来越厉害的时候，我们发现这个地方错得太离谱。OK，然后我们想要跟他追讨，他就我退出，你知道吗？他就退出这个京都议定的这个团体里面。然后这一次 COP26这个会议他也不参加，所以几个排放大国不参加，就会导致这个会议失败。这样你可以理解了吗？我现在跟你讲的这个东西是可以被操作的，碳权是可以被操作的。Carbon credit can be manipulated. If I'm a factory and I'm not willing to insert a sensor in my factory, and you won't be able to get correct data, right? And maybe you will think about, yes, we can force them. Yes, we can force them to insert data. But human has human right. Also, this company have its company's right. Okay? If I let you know how much carbon dioxide I released into air in average year, it's actually equal to my product ability, right? It's also equal to how much product I can produce in 1 year. If I release higher carbon dioxide, which means I could produce more products, right? Which means I can earn more money, right? And our government could get more tax from my company. So average company try to hiding those numbers. Okay? We don't even have the right to force them to offer us the data. Okay. Here's the carbon credit I want to know. And then we talk about this greenhouse gas emission, and we want to have a project called Global Zero Net, which means every country want to reduce the carbon emission rate and try to cooperate to create a better future. Yeah. And do you really believe the better future? What means better? Think about your life right now. What makes your life better? Okay, in your own opinions, if you turn on air conditioner and a lower temperature, you feel comfortable. It's so-called friendly environment. Oh, conditioner, okay, right. So, does anyone think you have a better life quality if you have better food, better water, more money? Yep. If you agreed you got more money, you have a better life quality, which means you have a better wood, better food, clean water, beautiful clothes, and it's a better life. Does anyone agree that? I agree, right? Don't you agree that? Yeah. Well, I think all the people living in urban city will be agree with that, right? We want a better life quality. But the better life quality doesn't mean more friendly for our environment. And if we want to do one thing more friendly in our environment, we should stop almost all of our activities and stop releasing those carbon dioxide, which means we have to turn off the fan, we have to turn off the light, we have to turn off the computer. Are you willing to do so? If you already got this knurling quality, are you willing to give it up? Really? You're willing to give it up? I don't think you're willing to give it up, right? Yeah, this is the reason why the rich company wanna buy more carbon credit to support their exist life quality. Okay, I'm a rich person. I want to eat 1 chicken per day, like that. And I have to pay the money to buy the chicken, right? And if you set up a standard, set up a rule, a guideline for me that I could only have half chicken per day, and the rich people feel unhappy. Hey, I have money, I'm willing to buy a whole chicken, so I pay more. Okay, I enjoy my life, I still enjoy my life quality, but I pay the money, I pay more money. And this money will go to those poor person who also deserve half chicken, but they got nothing. The rule says each person could have 1 egg per day. Okay, could have 1 egg per day. But I'm a rich person. I want to eat 3 eggs. I have this, you allowed me to eat, but I have 2 extra to buy it. This is a rich person. This is a poor person. For poor person, I may only take and get money from the rich man. Easy, right? It's kind of easy. So rich person will still remain their life quality, but they just pay the money. The price of money can also be different within the time, right? Oh, I was recently teaching this is what common English, 共同英文. I teach in English class, and then I mention about the big money, and then I talk about the price rate in 1950 and the price rate in 2021. It's already 270% higher than before. So the price, the actual price of money will change. And who decide the true price of money? Poor person or rich person? Unfortunately, it's rich person. So rich person give the money to the poor person, and then they manipulate the price of money. And then let the value of this money decrease or increase. And then they manipulate the whole market. So I think, in my opinion, I think all the concept, even the carbon credit, if they related to money, to economy system, it will be fail. It's in my opinion. Okay, because still rich people control everything. In my opinion, sadly, I think so. Okay, but how to prevent this bad situation? We have to make all the trading, all average trading things be public in wild. This depends on the blockchain. I already explained this part. One block contains the password, complex password, and you will have to calculate those things and make it right, and then you could go to the other block. And once I'm doing a trading, I transfer money to you. Once I do it, this information will be public on the internet. Okay, I do the business. You are the mine digger. You own the computer, and you are helping me to calculate and to prove this trading is correct. Okay? And one trading information need like millions, lots of billions maybe computers to calculate it and prove it. This trading will be true. This trading will be true only if over 50% of you agree, which means 50% of the students finish this calculation, finish this main trend, 50%, more than 50% of the whole computer in this world prove this is true, and this trading will be true. Traditionally, if you want to transfer the money to you, where you go? Yeah, you will go to ATM machine or you will go to a bank, right? And one bank will be responsible for this trading. But if this bank lie, if you have under table business with this bank and this bank manipulated the data for you, if this bank lie, the whole world will not know, right? Because only one person be responsible for this trading. But blockchain means I want to done a trading things. When I do it, immediately this trading data will be uploaded to global world. And all the person who have this machine, they can calculate these things, right or wrong. And all of them will have to try to finish this main trend. And each block contains complex password and only a little bit information, trading information inside. And you will have to finish step by step. And he may be the first one to finish the calculation and says, okay, this trading is true. And this student may be the second one to finish the calculation and says, no, it is wrong. Okay? So we have a different opinion. And then we keep calculating. This one says, yes, this is right. This one says, this is right. Over 50% of the students says, this is right. And the assistant will agree, yes, this trading is right. Okay, if over 50% of the students calculated the result and says this trading is fail, it's fake, and then my trading will be canceled. Okay, so not only the bank got this trading information, all the computer, all the person who helps calculate got this information. So I could not having a fake things. They will find out. Traditionally, we only have one bank to do these things to prove your trading is right. Now we have more than 1 million computer to prove this is right or wrong. Okay? So it's more reliable, right? This trading will be more reliable. But it's also very complex. Because I need so many people to having computer, they will have to turn on the power, they will have spending energy to only prove one thing, prove this tiny trading business is right. And how about those persons? Think about that. In this stage, maybe in this stage, like 48% of students say this trading is fake, and 52% of the students says it's right. So 48 is in this part, 52 is in this part, and this become a main trend. And this purple place become often trend. Often trend means we will give it up. Okay, we'll give it up. And if we will give it up, at least 48% of people will not keep doing the calculation in this side chain. They will have to switch to this part and start recalculate. Okay? They will join them. See this picture. Start here. First step. Some people says this trading is right. Some people says right, some people says fake. But in the end, we proved this trading is true. So this trading is true, become a main trend. And those people says this trading is fake, become an orphaned trend. Orphan chains means we will give up them. Okay, we'll give up them. But all those people doing the calculation, all those people turn on the computer and spending the energy, right? Only 50%, 52% is useful. And the other 48% will be give up, will be a waste. Okay? Each kind of a waste will have to be calculated to carbon dioxide release. We should consider about that, right? And average time, we only ask 50% to agree to prove this trading is true, which means we almost waste another 50%, the energy. And this kind of a split may not always happen, like this one here. This trend keeps says, okay, this trading is true, this trading is true, this trading is true, right? It's keep going to another block. And what am I doing? I try to tear up the classroom. Okay. And then another split here. Another split here, which means another energy wasting here. And why we have two blocks here on the orphan chain? Because all the students are not start calculation at the same time. He may start calculation in 8 o'clock, and this one may start calculation at 9 o'clock, and maybe Sabrina start calculation at 12 o'clock. They start in different times, and they all need 8 hours to finish this calculation. Okay, they all need these things to finish the calculation. But we have a delay of time. Do you got me? We have a delay of time. If this time gonna delayed, we may not in certain moment, maybe we will, as a machine, as the system manager, I will to check the result in every day, 12 o'clock p.m. If so, okay? And this one starts in the 8 p.m. The other one start at 9 p.m. and the other one start at 12 p.m. But I only check the result every day on 12 p.m., which means this one is finished. This one not yet finished. This one not yet even start. So at this moment, less than 50% of the machine finished the calculation. If that is less than 50%, I will say, okay, I could not make decision. I will let both process keep going. I will let both process who says it is wrong or it is right keep working. But the other day, 12 o'clock p.m., all the students finished the calculation, and I could make decision based on these things, and I could determine these things true or fake. So I decide this is true, and I keep going in least certain time, and I could decide who wasting time. Okay? If you're buying a machine to do the mine digging, to do the mining things, are you guaranteed you will get money? We all like Bitcoin. Bitcoin have very high transfer rate. You see, in 2021, April 16, one Bitcoin could be equal to 1.7 million Newton dollar. Wow, it's such a high, huge money, right? Everyone wants Bitcoin. And how to get Bitcoin? You will have to join this calculation system, and you will using your energy, your time, your machine, your computer to helping them to calculate. And the more you finish, the more you got. Okay? So if I'm the person who have one computer to do the calculation, and you are the person who have 100 computers to do the calculation, who will win? You will win, right? I only have one computer. So it's uneven start. It's different baseline. Again, who will be able to buy more computer Rich person or poor person? Rich person, right? Rich person. But fortunately, we already have too many computers in the whole world. Even you are so rich, you will never be able to buy 50% of the computer. Okay? You will not be able to buy 50% of the computer in the whole world. So you will not be control this market. Okay. Are you guaranteed you will get Bitcoin when you're doing the mining, when you turn on the computer? No. If you have a slow speed, and this rich person have a fast speed computer, he will finish the calculation before you. And if you cannot be finished the calculation on time, you will never get money. Okay? So if you are interested in mining things and you want to get online and buy a computer for yourself, make sure you're buying an expensive one with high speed. Otherwise, you will always be the loser. Okay, so these systems also have a lot of shortage. You want to buy a faster machine. How about old one? The old one will become a garbage, right? And this kind of a waste, you abandon this kind of old machine, it will also release carbon dioxide. So it seems like a very perfect situation. We use the blockchain to protect our information, to prove everything is true. It seems like a good concept, but actually, no. We still have a lot of shortage in the back. Got me? Okay. In Chinese. 这是一个很难的解释，但是我会想办法解释给你听。区块链是这样，区块链是反正就是一个 raw data， 一笔交易，然后这笔交易需要全世界的电脑来计算，超过一半的人说这个交易是对的，这个交易才会成立，不然的话，这个交易就会被取消掉。好，这是 blockchain 的一个概念。然后 blockchain 里面是每一个 block， 它里面包含了非常非常多的困难的密码，然后这些密码的加密过程都只是为了确保一个小东西，这个小东西就是我的交易资讯，比如说我汇出去100块，然后其他的密码都是在保护这个东西，然后确保说你确保说这个东西 PO 上去的，我要交易100块，这个事情是不能被篡改的，都是为了这个事情。然后所有的电脑都开始计算，会有分歧的。有人的电脑算出来说，哦，这个交易是假的；有人的电脑算出来说，这个交易是对的。然后到最后，如果超过50%的人讲说这个交易是对的，我们就会往下走。那些原来说他是错的人，他就浪费掉他的时间了。这样可以理解吗？他就浪费掉他的时间，因为他算的是错的，他就浪费掉时间了。然后那些算的比较慢的人，他的电脑主机算的比较慢的人，到时间截止的时候，他还没有算完的那些电脑，他也白费了。这样可以理解吗？好，然后他要这样子完成好多，至少9个吧，忘记是几个9个还是12个，忘记那个数量，很多个，他要完成很多个 block， 他才能够证实说这个交易是对的。如果全世界超过50%的人完成了这个 block， 这个 main chain， 然后证明这个交易是对的，剩下的人都不用算了，这样可以理解吗？那些已经开始算，到最后结算的时候还没有算完的人，他们所花的时间跟能量都是浪费的。所以这一个 system 它看起来是很好的，把所有东西都公开透明，然后都加密，但是你花了这么多的精神在算这些事情，然后有一半的资讯是被浪费掉的，所以其实这个事情后面还是有很多的隐忧。Okay, you want to turn on a computer, you need energy, you need power, and where you got power? Right? You got firepower, nuclear power. You still have to waste the resource to get power. And if you want to use this power to calculate the carbon dioxide releasing, and you yourself, you still releasing the carbon dioxide when you do the calculation. So it's logically wrong, right? Okay, right. I know it's kind of complex concept. We go back to easier part, okay? Do you know the forest? Forest means a lot of trees, right? Forest with old tree and also young tree, okay? All the trees are doing competition to each other. I want to grow high. I want the sunlight. You too, right? So whenever I grow faster and higher than you, what I will do? I will open the branch and use my leaves to cover you, to block your sunlight, make you lack of resource, and you will slowly die. Plants always do these things. But if one day a sunlight hitting me and I start burning and I fall down, I die, and I empty one space, I will stand, right? All the trees beside me, the small tree, sees this empty place, and they will start grow in very high speed and try to grow as high as they can, and then to block other people. Okay? This is what forests are doing. The plants always doing the competition to each other, fighting for the sunlight. Okay. And I want you to answer me. Except wood, what can old tree provide to us? 除了木材之外，这些老树，这些树可以给我们什么东西？ Okay, you have a shadow and make you cooler. Yes, the old tree can create a certain environment that's appropriate for other animals to live. Okay, they can become a habitat to other animals. O2, yes, great. Yes, O2. They can provide us oxygen. The old tree can provide us oxygen. And when this old tree having flower and having fruit, they can provide food to other animal, right? So how many species actually lives on one old tree? Think about the bird will have their nest on the old tree. The insect will use the flower as the honey resource, right? And even the fungal, even the mushroom will use the soil, will use the falling leaves on the ground to reproduce their next generation, right? So if you cut down one old tree and bring this tiny new one, the birds will not be able to nesting on it. And these tiny new trees will not flowering, and they won't provide honey to other insects. And they don't have much, they don't have enough the falling leaves on the ground. So there will be not good for the mushroom or the fungal. So when we cut down one old tree, we are talking about cut down one ecosystem in forest. Each old tree could be considered as one ecosystem. And this tiny ecosystem connect to each other because their roots will get touched with each other. Do you ever see the movie named Avatar? Avatar. Did you ever saw that? And you talk about on that plant, the tree, the mother of tree or sword tree. I forgot the name. That tree will pass the information to other trees, and the root of these trees connect to each other like an internet system in our world. And this is not imaginary things. It's actually happened in the forestry. Okay, the science use the sensor to detect the signal between the different tree. They plug in one sensor between my root and your root, and they actually recall the signal, transportation signal. They actually recall this data, but just we cannot understand what they transmit to others. Not yet, but these things do exist. So once you know it and you think back, before, are we truly to rush to cut down one old tree before we truly understand them? Right? We only think about God's wood. and use the wood to create furniture, to making papers, but we didn't consider about other animals and the whole ecosystem. Okay, so now, after we got this experience of valuation from Kyoto Protocol, and we start forbidding people to cutting old trees and growing young trees. And what is IoT? IoT means Internet of Things. The concept of this kind of Internet of Things is another technology, and it requires very high speed of internet. So it will be another whole story. So maybe next time I will explain that. But you could also check IoT online. Okay, it's your keyword today. This is the concept. We want to use IoT to do the blockchain calculation and transfer it to a carbon credit, and transfer this carbon credit to money, and use this money to support the third worlds to develop their industry IoT system. So they could offer data to these calculation things. Otherwise, if I am a poor country, I don't have the money to buy the sensor. How come you got correctly data from me, right? We talk about the carbon dioxide resource, and we talk about the plant will absorb the carbon dioxide for us. Anything else will do the sensing to absorb the carbon dioxide for us, except the plant. Who will doing these things for us? 除了植物之外，谁还会帮我们吸收二氧化碳？ Ocean, thank you. Ocean, but not ocean itself. Of course, carbon dioxide can be melted into the salt water. Yes, but salt water itself will not helping us to fix carbon dioxide. Think about the soda. Think about the Coca-Cola. They have a carbon dioxide inside, right? But once you shake it, those bubble comes out and those carbon dioxide release into the air. The same things, you could melt it, those carbon dioxide in the water, but once you stir in the water like ocean waves on the surface, this process will release the carbon dioxide. Okay, so who will helping us to fix, to absorb this carbon dioxide and without let them to release back to the natural here, except the plant. Plant using their leaves to do the photosynthesis and then forming the wood to grow up, right? And those wood is a carbon dioxide resource stock within the tree. Okay, if you cut out them and use this wood, and the carbon dioxide will be released back to the air. And in the ocean, who will do these fixed things for us to keep the carbon dioxide inside? Who? Okay, if you don't know that, it's fine. When the carbon dioxide absorbed or melted into the salt water, the algae, the planktons in the ocean, in the water, will do the tiny photosynthesis things. Okay, they will do the tiny photosynthetic things. And one thing grows on the seabed, they will hunt the planktons as food resource, and they also grow up. They have a multiple color, and then there are many fish live within these kind of things. Normally in tropical ocean, we will see that colorful things on the seabed. When you're doing the scuba diving, and you will see these kind of colorful things. What is it? If you go diving, like in Kenting, if you go diving, okay, scuba diving, any kind of diving, you go to the seawater, and you will see these colorful things growing on the seabed. A lot of fish, a lot of creature, crab things living inside land. They are like the plant under the water. They are colorful. Who are they? Yes, they are coral. They're coral. Okay, why I'm using this way to explain that? Why I'm turning a circle and then make you think about the whole picture? Because coral is an animal who eats plankton and get the carbon dioxide inland and transform to the bone of itself. Almost all the sea creature contains and fix the carbon dioxide in their body. We do, okay, we human do. If you're burning me out, I will release carbon dioxide, right? I stock the carbon dioxide in my protein, in my muscle, in my fats. Okay, so today I brings you a lot of things to prove that. I bring you some sea urchin. This one, sea urchin. And the carbon dioxide exists in the ocean. The carbon dioxide fixed in the ocean will not use the form as glucose. Okay, glucose this way. On the land, we have plant to do the photosynthesis and create C6H12O6. This is glucose. And in the ocean, they are not exist as this form. They exist as CaCO3. It's called calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate. This way, CaCO3. In the water, okay, we're forming calcium carbonate. This is the material that those marine creatures forming their bond, okay? Here I'm showing you it's not a shell of an urchin. This is the bone of the urchin. And when you're doing this way, oh, this is not. This is a cramp. This is a cramp, but this is not only made by calcium carbonate. It's also made by chitosan, so it's different material. Just want to show you more things. And here is another sea urchin. And in your mind, did you ever touch sea urchin? Did you ever touch the shell, the bone of the sea urchin when you're walking on the beach? Have you ever? They're hard or they're soft? I think they are hard and crispy, right? But this one, living underwater like 800-meter deep with very high water pressure. This one is soft. This one is as soft as a laser, like your wallet. Okay, they are very soft. And here is another one. It's a whole cramp species. It's a whole cramp species. This is also combined calcium carbonate and chitosan to forming this shell. Okay, so you're allowed to get it and watch it. 帮我忙发下去给同学。Would you mind just let them to watch? 不要把它掉到地上 Don't drop it. Okay, great. And I also prepared something else for you. Here is a coral. Here is a coral. All the things I brought to you today is I want you to see in detail. Okay, just like this coral, you could touch it, you could feel the texture of it, and you can see there are many tiny holes. There are many tiny holes on this coral, right? The coral is made by many. This is the bone only. They have meat. All those things moving on the screen is their meat. They are combined. There are units, a lot number of the coral polyp, and each coral polyp look like this way. They were using their finger to get the plankton. Okay, So this is the coral you can see. Every tiny hole on it represent a coral polyp. And all the jewelries, organic jewelries we wear, is also contain the carbon dioxide inside, using the form calcium carbonate. This is made by a shell, model pearl. This is another kind of a coral. We say it is jewel coral. We say it is a jewel coral, and this is made by shell. This one is quite expensive, so don't drop it, okay? And this one is another type of the hard coral. This one is not so pretty, right? This one without the color is not so pretty. But this one is Argo Reef. This is Argo Reef, which means, do you know coral reef? Do you know coral reef? 你知道珊瑚礁吗? Coral reef. Coral reef is made by lots of the different type of the coral to create a space called the coral reef. This tiny one also have a lot of hole inside its natural shape. This is Argo Reef, which means all its parts made by tiny algae in the ocean. This one grows very slow, only 0.1 centimeter per year. Their growing speed is quite very slow. Okay, so forming this one takes like at least 15 years to create this height. Okay, so it's very slow speed. But is Argo Reef very rare in the world? Coral can be melted by acid. If you put sulfuric acid on this coral, it will be melted. Once it melted, it will be hydrated, and it will transform to carbon dioxide and water. So if you have a coral on your hand, you have some toilet cleaner, right? You have some chemical in your bathroom that you use to clean the toilet, right? Sulfuric acid. 你们家里有没有盐酸啊、硫酸之类的东西清洗厕所的？厕所清洁剂总有吧？威猛先生这种总有吧？好 ，If you put acid or vinegar, or even the vinegar on this coral, it will be melted. It will show bubble. Do you ever play these things in your life? When you're a child, do you ever put acid on one coral and try to melt it? Almost everything I show you today, you put acid on it, they will melt it and create bubble. Okay, almost of them. 这个东西它是珊瑚沙，它就是珊瑚被海浪打碎了之后产生的东西。然后呢，正常的珊瑚沙其实不会是完全的这样子的白色，这么漂亮的。这是在一个非常纯净的岛屿才拿得到的。这个岛屿是来自台湾的最南方，太平岛。Okay, this is a coral sand, which means they are tiny broke coral reef. And you can see the color is pure white, almost pure white, and with tiny red. They are all made by coral, and only in a very pure ocean. In the southeast part of Taiwan, Taiping Island, we could get this one. Your teacher spending 9 days in one travel to get this one by my hand in Nansha, Taiping Dao. And I want to give to you as a gift. Thank you for doing the experiment for us. And if you use some spyglass to watch it, to enlarge it, you can see there are many, many tiny creatures, beautiful shape inside it. Okay, and since our human eyes can only see big things, the tiny things bare human eyes can see is like 10 micrometer equal to 0.01 millimeter. This is what we can see in our bare eyes, this tiny size. you can see. So there are so many things we could not see by our eyes, right? We have to enlarge it. And this one, this is kind of its type of algal. This one called coccoliths. All of you, please go check this keyword, coccoliths. Okay, as your homework, please. This coccolith is so tiny. Their size is only 1 micrometer. Our human eyes cannot able to watch it, to see it. We'll never be able to watch it. They are so tiny. Even they exist in the seawater. And the seawater is still remain crystalline, still transcript. We cannot see it. But they have a large quantity exists in the ocean. And each coccolith is formed by calcium carbonate. And you can see this picture here. This one. This is 1 micrometer line here. This one, this size, this bar shows you 1 micrometer. And these whole coccoliths maybe only 5 micrometer. And this is already a huge one. Okay, this is already a huge one. And this is made, this photo was taken by the electronic microscope. Okay, so this picture, you need to use equipment to take this one to see the detail. And they still have more detailed structure inside. This kind of coccoliths floating in the ocean, everywhere in the ocean. They all do the things. They all doing these things like absorbed carbon dioxide and combined with calcium ion and then formed calcium carbonate, which means all those coccoliths helping us to store the carbon dioxide in their body. Okay? Before, like 20 years before, we don't know this kind of algae have this function. We don't know. So we say the rainforest on the land, they are the major one to absorb the carbon dioxide. But now, with new research, we know the coccoliths helping us to restore those carbon dioxide a lot. They have even bigger function than the forest. Okay, this is a new research told us. We still try to prove this theory. And these coccoliths will float from this country to other country, taking the current. And they will also have to falling down into the deep water. And do you know the whale? When the whale is swimming, they will from the deep water to the surface to breathe. And then they will go down, they will diving into deep water again, right? This kind of activity of whale, forming a circle to stirring those coccoliths. And stirring the seawater, make the carbon dioxide on the surface of the ocean go to the deep part of the ocean. And all those coccoliths will absorb it and forming their structure like this one. So before we only think about the whale is a resource for our daily life as food, right? But now we know even they are moving, this huge animal, even they are swimming, they stir in the water and they create this function that help the coccoliths to grow up, to absorb the carbon dioxide and give human a better environment. I will use Chinese 1 minute, okay. 盖板藻，它的名称就叫 coccoliths。我让你们回去查这个字，因为它真的很有趣，它的全身都是用这个 calcium carbonate 去组成的，它的全身都是这样去组成的。然后他们都是一直 follow 这个 equation 啊，就是一直在吸收水中的二氧化碳H2O water and carbon dioxide， 他们一直在吸收这些东西，然后他们把水中的钙离子 calcium ion， 他们结合这个东西，然后 forming calcium carbonate， 用这个样子的形式变成这样的化学物质，然后长成这样子的身体结构。他们一直在做这个事情，他们很小，他们是肉眼看不见的。这一张是电子显微镜 ，SEM scanned electronic microscope， 用 SEM 去照的照片，所以你肉眼根本看不到。那它这么小，它在水里面，它还是呈现一个透明的状态。好，你的眼睛是看不到那个水，就是看不到这个东西。那因为看不到，所以以前人类没有去研究这些东西。这20几年来，我们发现，其实水中的盖板藻做的这个东西的功效，是比雨林还要强大的。OK 好，所以我才要你们回去查这个 coccoliths 这个单字，好，去查盖板藻，找这个单字。然后呢，盖板藻它是有重量的，虽然它是浮在水中，但它是会有重量，会慢慢往海里面掉的。OK， 所以它不只是在潜水，它在深水也有。然后我刚刚提到的一种生物就是鲸鱼嘛 ，whale 知道吗？哈，鲸鱼会平行的游啊，会全世界旅行，对不对？然后鲸鱼会潜到深水，再浮到水面啊，呼吸嘛，对不对？好，这个样子的事情，鲸鱼在垂直游动的时候会把那个水翻搅 ，they will stir in the water。然后他们在搅动这些水的时候 ，those coccoliths will go up to the surface of the water and absorb the carbon dioxide。他们浮到水面上的时候，会再一次吸收的二氧化碳，然后再慢慢落到水底。然后每一次的鲸鱼的游动，这样子搅动这些水，都是帮助这些 coccoliths 做一些循环，然后这些 coccoliths 就可以长得更大。所以你知道吗？当我们以前在杀一只鲸鱼的时候，我们只是把它拿来当成食物的来源，或是一些工业的日常用品的一些润滑油啊、一些燃料之类的。但是现在不是，我们现在发现，即便它们活着，它们在移动，都有帮我们减缓全球暖化的功能。这样了解了吗？ So actually, you kill one whale, it's likely you kill part of the ecosystem. So we now know it. Okay, we now know it. And this is the plankton. 皮老板的英文叫 plankton. Do you know that? Do you ever watch the cartoon and SpongeBob SquarePants? Yeah, this one mentioned one bad guy is actually the poor bad guy named the plankton. Yeah, they are the food of coral polyp. They are the food of coral polyp. This is one coral polyp. Here is many coral polyp. They are using their finger to catching the plankton in the water. Okay, and then in next week, maybe next week, I will talk about the detail of why these coral die. There are many reasons caused this coral die. If those coral died, they will not be able to catch the plankton, which means they are not able to fix the carbon dioxide for us. Okay, so you want a coral die or not? If they died, they won't be able to catch the plankton. They won't be able to eat the plankton. And after they eat plankton, they're forming this calcium carbonate bone. Okay, this is their bone. This is a solid type of a carbon dioxide. Okay, when you're touching this coral, actually you're touching a solid form of carbon dioxide. 当你在触摸这个珊瑚的时候，其实你是在触摸一个固态的二氧化碳。我要表达的是这个意思 ，because this bone is made by calcium carbonate, and you can see here is a CO2 plus O, right? And combined with calcium iron to forming this kind of bone. So this is a solid type of a carbon dioxide. Okay, if this coral die, their finger die, right? Those coral polyps died, and they will not be able to keep catching the plankton, and they will not be able to using this plankton or algae as a food to create more solid form of carbon dioxide. Okay, if they stop doing these things, let's stop fixing the carbon dioxide for human. So are you willing to kill the coral and make them losing this function? I think the answer is definitely no, right? You want to keep this coral keep living and store the carbon dioxide for us. So if a coral start dying, the whole ecosystem, marine ecosystem will also crushed. We said coral is like the rainforest under the water. We said that. The coral reef is like the rainforest on the land. They are equal. They are the same function. So if we kill the coral reef, which means like we cut down, likely we are cut down all the trees in forest. So it's not good things. But the corals keep dying. More than 40% of coral is dying right now. And dying speed is keep raising so fast. There are many, many reasons. We will mention it later.